Good evening, and welcome to this public hearing of the Board of Education. Tonight, we will hear from the public on the two Phase 1 redistricting plans. So just as a reminder, that's the northern part of the county. As described during the public briefing on October 2nd, the plans center on creating boundaries for Old Mill West High School and West County Elementary School, while balancing enrollments across schools in the Chesapeake, Glen Burnie, Meade, North County, Northeast, and Old Mill clusters. Specifically, the redistricting scenarios before the board for its consideration are as follows. Both plans would leave 15 schools in the northern part of the county at or above 90% capacity. Option 1 would include 12th graders as legacy students, allowing them to remain at their current schools even if they were to be redistricted. Option 2 includes 11th and 12th graders in the legacy student provision. In neither case, would legacy students receive transportation should they elect to remain at their current school? Without any redistricting, 26 schools would reach that mark, with 7 operating between 100% and 110% of capacity, and 6 others operating at more than 110% of capacity. The board is scheduled to vote on adoption of a redistricting plan at its November 15th, 2023 meeting. The adopted plan would go into effect in the 2024-2025 school year. The link to sign up for public comment for tonight opened at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, October 11th, 2023, and closed on Sunday at 12 p.m. We will begin with in-person speakers and then move on to virtual speakers. Speakers will be allotted 2 minutes each and may not allocate their time to others. For the record, please state your name before speaking. Handouts may be given to the board's executive assistant. If you are not present when your name is called, we will move on to the next speaker. Those who have missed their opportunity to speak may email their comments to the board office at boardoffice@aacps.org. The light in front of me on the dais will flash yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining. Then a red light will appear and a tone will sound when your time has expired. I will call the first 5 speakers. Please come forward. You may choose to speak from the podium or from the witness tables, whichever you prefer. Thank you for joining us. And I want to reiterate again, tonight we are talking about Phase 1, which is the northern part of the county. We will subsequently be addressing Phase 2 at a later date. So I would like to call the first 5 speakers forward for in-person. Ms. Jamie Herman-Cugnay, Ms. Mara Whiteman, Bobby Geisler, Tony Pratt. I don't see Ms. Pratt. So I will move forward. Michael Laukatis and Iris Whiteman.
Ready? Good afternoon, President Tobin, Dr. Bedell, members of the board. My name is Jamie Herman-Cugnay, and I live in Pasadena. Since just September 30th, there have been 3 accidents on Mountain Road, east of Woods Road, that have shut the road down, including one on the evening of the Chesapeake High School homecoming game. Some families were stuck at the school until approximately midnight. Just this morning, there was another accident at Magathy Beach and Route 100 that snarled traffic in the area before daylight. I am here tonight to voice my opposition to adding 150 more students, their buses and vehicles to the chaos that is often Mountain Road. Moving of students who live off Mountain Road between Catherine Avenue and B&A Boulevard from the Northeast and Glen Burnie clusters to the Chesapeake cluster will add additional traffic and public safety issues to the peninsula. Saying that no additional buses will be on Mountain Road doesn't fully tell the truth. While buses may cross or be on Mountain Road now, more buses and cars will absolutely be traveling east of Woods Road. They will be stuck. Northeast High School is not projected to be over capacity within the next 10 years, according to the Master Facilities Plan. Keeping these students and adding the Glen Burnie students who are slated to move to Chesapeake will not negatively impact our Northeast community. For safety of AACPS students, their families, and residents of the peninsula, I implore you to rethink this change. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Whiteman? Yes.
Hi, Maura Whiteman. I'm here today to restate the concerns I've been voicing in writing throughout the process. Redistricting Farmington Village from the Northeast feeder to Chesapeake will create a problem rather than solve one. Northeast High and Middle School are not over capacity now, nor are they forecasted to be in 2031. They average 80%. The board recently approved construction of an elementary school in 27, which will further reduce utilization. Sending Farmington to Chesapeake will create a transportation burden that Mountain Road is not equipped to handle. The statement issued by the board that there will be, quote, no additional buses on Mountain Road is not true. There will be 150 middle and high school students to transport. This has to mean additional buses or existing buses changing their routes to include Mountain Road, as well as dozens of extra cars with parents or student drivers driving to school and activities each morning and evening. Further, as Farmington drives Mountain Road, we will pass neighborhoods both to the north and south that will continue to go to Northeast under the current proposal. Mountain Road is the only road to and from the Pasadena Peninsula, and the traffic created by the decision to redistrict us will impact everyone who lives or works here. I would also like to speak in support of extending the legacy student option to the junior class. Juniors are already rooted in their coursework, sports, student governments, plays, and activities. Each of those students should be provided the option of choice. As junior year is the most significant when applying for college, any disruption in academics, leadership roles, or sports within schools will fundamentally impair their college prospects and scholarship opportunities. Allowing juniors choice will not burden Northeast. The material presented at the last board meeting showed that even if all juniors and seniors chose to remain at their school, the schools could accommodate them. But not all juniors or seniors will elect to stay, especially since they need to self-transport. We can assume that legacy student participation will be significantly lower than presented at the last meeting. Please consider not redistricting the Farmington Village community to Chesapeake, as this is the safest option for those that live or work on the Pasadena Peninsula. Please grandfather the entire junior class. Changing schools junior year is a serious disruption to academic progression and leadership roles and limits the students' post-secondary opportunities.
Thank you. Bobby Geisler?
Hello, my name is Bobby Geisler, and my daughter is currently a sophomore at North County High School. I am aware redistricting is necessary, however, I have concerns. We purchased our home specifically for our children to attend North County. Our school district is 75% of the families in our community have also done the same. We are a military family that have made life-altering sacrifices. We've passed up jobs, travel, promotions, better pay so our kids could go to the same school until they graduate. My daughter has 2 years left after this year. I'd like for her to stay at North County if possible. I live between Wellham and 97 exit on B&A Boulevard. How do you expect my child to walk to school passing the 97 exits without any crosswalks, any sidewalks, anything? Some of our students that struggled during the pandemic are finally starting to find some kind of normal again. They're on sports teams. They have teachers that they confide in. They're invested in our school. This will impact our children tremendously by moving them. What are your plans to stay ahead of the fallout? Not only will they suffer socially, but academically. My daughter carries a 4.19 GPA. She's in 5 honors classes, an AP class, and she's part of the Child Growth and Development course at North County that she actually attended herself. She has intentions of staying with that course until she graduates so that she can get her certification to start teaching after school. We all know North County is a STEM school. You're moving students out that are walking distance from their current school to make room for students that live in other towns. Why haven't we considered adding STEM programs to other schools? In my opinion, the least amount of impact would be to transition them at kindergarten, 6th, or 9th grade. I know that's not possible. However, keeping the ones that are in the school in high school now is very important to them. We did not ask for the overpopulation. We bought our home. Why do our children have to suffer for the destructive decisions that were made before us?
Thank you. Mr. Laukaitis?
Good evening, Dr. Bedell and members of the board. My name is Mike Lakaitis, and I have a daughter who attends Old Mill High School and another daughter who attends Old Mill Middle South. I live just around the corner from where we are here in a small neighborhood called North River Forest. The Old Mill campus is 12.4 miles from my house. When it was announced that there was a plan for redistricting, my wife and I were optimistic and hopeful that our neighborhood would be reconsidered. Much to our dismay, nothing changed. I'm here tonight to express my concern and disappointment with the current plan, and I urge you to reconsider. As I stated earlier, our house is 12.4 miles to the Old Mill campus. Our children have a 30 to 35-minute bus ride every day to and back from school. One of the advantages of sending your children to public schools is they're supposed to be in their neighborhood schools, attending in neighborhood schools, schools that are close to home. This is not true in our case. There are 5 schools that are closer in proximity. They are Annapolis High School, Crofton High School, South River High School, Broadneck High School, Arundel High School, and technically the 6th, Severna Park. I realize there is a Phase 2 redistricting plan that includes the high schools I just mentioned. However, when you look at the Phase 1 map, our area is surrounded by Phase 2 schools. The neighborhood across the street and next to ours feed to Annapolis High School. It is worth noting that 7 out of the 8 wealthiest schools in the district are in Phase 2. I would love to know the rationale behind this. This school system has put such an emphasis and priority on equity. How is this equitable? There was a recent shift in school start times to allow older students to get their needed sleep. This has not benefited my children. They have to get up earlier than their peers and the classmates because the bus comes so early to get them the distance that is so far. Again, how is this equitable? We have 4 students that attend Old Mill High School in our neighborhood and 1 that attends Old Mill Middle South. Our neighborhood is not providing a huge population to Old Mill, nor would they be inundating a new school with an influx of students. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mrs. Whitman?
I'm Irish Whiteman. Good evening, members of the board. I stand before you today as a disheartened sophomore, class president, vice president of the Best Buddies Club, among other things, but most relevant, a resident of the Farmington Village community. I'm here today to address the impacts we'd be put in if the legacy student privilege is not extended to juniors due to the loss of leadership opportunities and social disadvantages. Hopefully, I can show you the faces behind the numbers you're considering. If juniors are not grandfathered, we will lose out on all of our leadership roles. Clubs appoint their leadership positions for the following school year before the end of the previous year, meaning that we would enter our junior year without any of these roles that give us purpose. Maybe we could win over our new classmates for our senior year, but more than likely, the other students at Chesapeake that are more well-known among said clubs will receive those positions over us. Another reason for grandfathering juniors is the social disruption. I was terrified my first day of high school. I knew 2 people total. I made bad decisions, looped myself up with the wrong friends. I got lost in hallways and committed many other embarrassing acts. Now, I found my place at Northeast with an abundance of friends and blooming relationships everywhere. Like many others, I have generalized anxiety disorder. The stress from school hits me like a ton of bricks, but I have a strong support system here at Northeast. Junior year is well known to be filled with apprehension from demanding tests. I would be pulled away from my well-built friendships and unkindly plopped into a school where I'd feel lost again, same as I was that first day of freshman year. And on top of that, I would still be expected to excel on more and more standardized tests. Junior year is not the time to pull anybody out of their social circles. Along with peer-to-peer friendships, I've built strong student-teacher relationships. I formed the first ever Mathletes Club at Northeast this year. Had I not an existing tremendous relationship with my teacher, Mrs. Brown, this very dear club to me would not have happened. Also, I would like to mention the signature program. Northeast offers a wonderful signature program on biomedical sciences, which is the field I intend to study. But Chesapeake does not. I have devoted myself to hours of studying for this program. I have 2 years left of it. Please do not make all this work for nothing. We are begging you to see us as people, not numbers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I don't believe Ms. Pratt is here, so that means we will be moving now to our virtual testimony. Thank you all very much.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual portion of the testimony this evening. Speakers will be allotted 2 minutes each and may not allocate their time to others. Ms. Howe will indicate when your time has expired. It is not the board's general practice to engage in question and answer session with speakers. For the record, please give your name before speaking. Our first speaker is Bianca Forrester. Okay. Our next speaker is Adina Tasker. Okay. Our next speaker is Pamela Bissett. Our next speaker is Melissa Batchelder.
Hi, my name is Melissa Batchelder. I am a current parent at the North County clusters. I have a house that is less than a mile from North County High School. I currently have a high schooler there that walks every day. And with your new proposed boundaries, my children will no longer have that ability. From the edge of my street, I can see Lindell Middle School, which is less than a half a mile from my home. With your new districting, my children will no longer be able to walk to middle school. They'll be bused over 5 miles to Corcoran Middle School every day. My high schooler will then have to go to Glen Burnie High School, driving right past his current school to go to his new. It is completely unfair that you're pulling children that have been in the same community for years, since elementary school, and pulling just parts of them, the walking parts of them, and moving them to another school. Please, please understand that putting a child from a walking situation for after-school clubs, if the buses aren't running, is a good thing. And now putting them on a bus more than 5 miles to school every day, not knowing if they're gonna have a way home, not knowing if they'll be able to get to school every day, is a stress that you're adding to our children and our families and our communities. I would please implore you to not let us rely on your unreliable transportation and keep our current school walking boundaries where they are. North County High School is losing their walkers. You say that they're losing buses, but I don't see from where. You're still busing in STEM students every day. There is no accommodations for more parkings for our students. So even the seniors that are allowed to stay next year will not have a parking spot for them to park in. This is just one family that is impacted by the many, many decisions that you are making with the redistricting plan that you have in place. Please understand that our children that are walking should not be forced to move to another school. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Amy Smith.
Hi, my name is Amy Smith, and I'm the parent of a 3rd grader at Severn Elementary. I'm advocating for the boundaries of Lake Village townhomes to remain at Severn Elementary School to sustain social, emotional, and educational connections. Current proposals split the Lake Village community in half, which further challenges making community connections, especially since it's a rental community. My daughter's cohort began in 2020, which was highly impacted on a foundational level, and redistricting increases the ripple effects. Our families are still trying to restabilize after experiencing isolation, social regression, and educational delays. My daughter experiences social and separation anxiety, and it's taken 2 years for her to get comfortable eating in a cafeteria, playing at recess. And so familiarity of the school staff has been tremendously helpful and essential. Changing the boundaries and sending her to another school will be detrimental. The school's current capacity is 107%, and redistricting reduces it to 106, while impacting our household 100%. I'm also speaking as a clinical social worker who's been rooted in the mental health sector for over 15 years, and I've observed how COVID has caused disruption to daily routines, changes in learning environment, and while redistricting must occur, it can be done in a way that sustains our communities. In addition, I also come to you as a person that experienced redistricting when I was in elementary school, and to this day, I'm still segregated from my hometown community because so much of our social experiences are cultivated at school. And this was in the 80s when you could just walk outside of your front door. Fast forward to today, where technology and lifestyle have limited ways our children organically connect to where they live. In summary, I'm asking for the Lake Village community in Severn to remain at Severn Elementary School as a whole, specifically to limit disruption of social connection, ease emotional stress, reduce academic disruptions, and allow for the community and to have that continuity and structure that we've been working to regain over the past few years. Please consider preserving whole communities while dividing the lines, because in my case, a few blocks makes a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Hancock.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Hancock. I'm speaking to you as a parent of 2 students who attend Anne Arundel County Public Schools. I'm also an alumni of the school system and an educator with 31 years of experience in public school system. I'm a parent currently of a junior at North County High School and an 8th grader at Lindale Middle School, who are both negatively impacted by these redistricting programs. My children are hardworking students. They have above average grade and academic expectations. My daughter's in the STEM program. My son's an advanced learner. We're hoping he gets into the STEM at North County, but if he doesn't win that lottery, he'll be going to Glen Burnie High School, where he won't know any teacher or any other students that he's been going to school with for the last several years. My daughter's been at North County for the last 3 years. She spent that time developing wonderful relationships with her academic peers, as well as the wonderful staff at North County High School. We feel our daughter is safe at North County High School because of these relationships she has bonded with the staff. Her German teachers, her science teachers, especially the music department, they are family for her. And changing or forcing her to change to a different school for her senior year of high school would cause so much disruption for her mental health and well-being that she has determined that she will drop out of high school and then become a statistic against Anne Arundel County Schools as a high school dropout. She's 16, says she can make the decision on her own with my support, and I would support that for her because the school system is not supporting her for her own needs. We are asking that you give our students the choice to attend school where they want to attend school based upon their mental and social needs. Academic needs will be addressed no matter where they attend school. She will do well wherever she goes to school. Her mental and emotional and social needs are very important to her academic success, and they're important to us also. So please give the students a choice where to attend school instead of just uprooting them to a strange location for 1 or 2 or 3 years of their high school career. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Rosemary Okochi. Okay, she's not with us this evening. Next is Lakeisha Curtis. Okay, Taja Roche. Abraham Sadat. Shonda Ferguson. Heather Heffold. Carl Wynn. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Wynn.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Carl Wynn. This is my wife, Allegra Wynn. We've lived in the county for over 25 years, and our eldest son has been through the whole feeder system with Griffin Woods, Old Mill Middle, Old Mill High School. And all throughout that time, we participated in all levels, actively participating at the school system, helping out at school and whatnot. And the whole time we kept hearing that we're going to build a new high school, but also an elementary school. We knew our son wasn't going to be there in time for that, but maybe our daughter would. That didn't work out. But they are building the school, the elementary school near Rippling Woods. We heard that they were going to be opening a new high school. And we thought that our kid would be in that high school. We were excited about that. And to hear that our neighborhood has been carved out of that whole feeder system is disappointing, because we actually we took her out of Old Mill Middle. She's currently in virtual academy right now because we're not happy with Old Mill. Old Mill is an old school. It was built in 1974. Don't get me wrong, 74 is a good year. That's when I was born. But that is an old school. Okay. And my daughter, she always complains about the rodents in there. And it was so bad that I wrote a letter to the school. And I wrote a letter to the school board, and they promised to do something about it. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. It was just passed off. So
and our kid has viral induced asthma, which if it's any kind of bacterial infection, cold, whatever. So we found that her attendance was being affected by the lack of ventilation in the school, because when kids would get sick, just like everybody else has experienced, their kids get sick. Well, when our kid gets sick, it escalates.
Can I ask you to summarize, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Nguyen, could you summarize, Mr. Nguyen?
So basically, we just don't understand why Mill Race, that's the community that we live in, was cut out of going to Old Mill West. And I thought the whole purpose of building that school was to get rid of Old Mill. But it seems like we're holding on to Old Mill. We're going to keep all these kids that live in apartments.
Your time has expired.
In Old Mill. And I just don't agree with that.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Fidelina Moreno. She's not with us. Teresa Litchford, also not with us. Jennifer Homer. And Chang Yi. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the virtual portion of our public hearing this evening. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, and that concludes the hearing for tonight.